Hey all, here OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the Origem HS-3. These are wireless Bluetooth headphones, but they're unique for a few reasons. First of all, they claim to have HDR, which is a terminology more associated with photography, with videos, high dynamic range than with sound. In fact, I've never come across that description with sound before, but essentially what they're able to do is it claims to have an algorithm that detects sound pressure of the listening experience and then automatically adjusts the volume and sound dynamically depending on what you're listening to and what your surroundings are, which is kind of interesting. Now, another interesting feature is they have a always-on microphone that will pick up different voice controls and commands. So you are able to just directly talk to launch into Assistant or play and pause your music without having to double tap or press any buttons. There's also quick charge technology that can juice it up in 30 minutes, giving you over 6 hours of playback time. You can also still access a physical key to take images and use it as a selfie control, which is interesting. Inner flap says overcome obstacles, free yourself. And then we have just a quick start guide here that documents how to access the various features, include wearing it. It works with any standard smartphone or tablet that has built-in Bluetooth. We have a hardshell carrying case. Inside we should have some spare silicone tips, and indeed they're placed into this little plastic pouch, which is pretty cool, and they charge using micro USB, as you can see there. Then we have just the HS-3 themselves. You can see here that there actually aren't any tips pre-installed by default, so you have to pick one from the pouch. Taking a closer look at the design, it might look traditional from the front, but there's a lot of details here that are very untraditional. For example, the hinge for the wing here can actually be adjusted directly. So you can see that you can tilt this up and down to put it in and out of your ears. And then for the inside, we have some additional ergonomic tilts, which should ensure a really snug fit, even if you're jogging or moving around outdoors. Otherwise, to access the always-on microphone, you have a few default commands that it will listen to, and you can just say without pressing anything, and also say hello voice cue to automatically activate Google Assistant or Siri, depending on whatever phone you're using, whether it's Android or iOS. So you have to master these commands, but otherwise it will recognize it without the need to press anything. Otherwise, one small detail that is missing from this is the end caps aren't magnetic, so they won't actually stick together like so if you're just wearing it like a necklace, but otherwise the other elements are just really detailed. Moving to performance, let's talk about the voice commands first. So as a demo, play music. You can see the music begins playing almost instantly. Pause music. And it recognizes within the context of different sentences, like if I keep on talking and then suddenly say play music, it will pick that up and you can see it naturally does the action for you. And other commands like hello, voice cue also work quite well. So you can see it's launched into Google Assistant automatically whenever I just say that without needing to press anything. Although it still feels a little unnatural to walk down the street and kind of talk to yourself, the good thing is that the microphone is really sensitive, so you don't need to be shouting those commands across the street for it to recognize it. You can actually just whisper and it still does the trick. Audio quality for Bluetooth headphones are also really good. They're probably one of the most dynamic sounding I've heard. I think that's due to the HDR effect. What I mean by that is if you're watching a movie, for example, not only do you feel the bass, it's really present and powerful, but it almost feels like you're listening to everything recorded in binaural audio or 3D space. You can hear objects moving around you. Everything is just super immersive and you get instantly sucked into the sound. And that works with any track that you listen to, not only films and soundtracks, but even regular songs become a lot more dynamic, a lot more immersive and lively sounding. With that being said, the slight downside is it's a very smooth sound. A lot of times if I'm listening to vocals, certain artists like Janis Joplin maybe has a slightly rougher and grittier sound, it gets slightly smoothed out by the HDR algorithms at work. It's definitely not a bad thing. In fact, on the majority of songs that you listen to, it actually improves the quality. But again, if you are trying to go for a more of acoustic vibe, then sometimes it doesn't sound as natural or as true to life as studio quality headphones may sound, at least from my opinion. Particularly for genres like EDM and pop music, these are definitely some of the best sounding I've heard, just because of how much they suck you in and pack bass but doesn't overpower the other elements either. What's also really good is the comfort. This super bendable outer wing has been just one of the best parts of its design. After I started using it a little bit while, I just realized how much easier it was to attach, how much it supports the weight of the earphones so that you can be wearing them for hours and hours and not notice any strain or stress. So that's been the Origem HS-3. These are wireless Bluetooth headphones that have more features than what meets the eye. Although I came in with heavy doubt regarding the HDR claims, I actually left feeling fairly impressed, especially for consumer type music, as well as watching movies, watching YouTube videos. These create a new sense of immersiveness that is hard to describe and hard to come across. It gets plenty loud, packs a lot of bass, but at the same time delivers a dynamic experience with mids and trebles, and overall it presents a very unique listening experience that might be worth taking a closer look at if you're curious or willing to experiment a little bit with sound. So you can check out more details if interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the very unique, surprisingly, Origem HS-3 wireless Bluetooth headphones.